Good afternoon. My name is Christopher Kennedy. This is a persuasive speech for the Foundations of Oral Communication for the University of Maryland University College. These are the last words or letters of a person who either caused the death or died at the hands of another person due to texting while driving. Every day we could be putting our lives or the lives of others at risk. Our actions cannot be undone, and what we do today we will have to live with tomorrow. The majority of us own a cell phone and drive. We've all probably been distracted at one point or another while driving, whether it's putting on makeup, eating, or responding to a text or sending one. The question we need to ask ourselves, though, is have we ever thought of whose life we could be affecting by doing these things? Today I will be trying to convince you of the dangers of texting while driving and to stop doing it. I will do so by sharing with you some statistics, stories of victims, and some solutions. According to the Federal Communications Commission and the National Highway and Traffic Safety Association, every single day 8 people die and almost 1,200 people are injured due to distracted drivers. In 2015 alone, almost 3,500 people were killed, and almost 400,000 people were injured by drivers paying more attention to their cell phones than to the 1-ton block of metal that they were controlling at high speeds. Right now, at this very second, and at any second during daylight hours, 660,000 people are using their cell phones while they drive. This should scare you. And the ones most likely to perform this task are 16 to 24-year-olds. These are drivers who are still learning how to drive, and yet they think they can text and drive. Mariah West was on her way to see her new boyfriend and play baseball. It was the day before her high school graduation. She looked down to read a text from her boyfriend that read, "Where are you at?" That one moment of inattention, less than 5 seconds of time with her eyes off the road, caused disaster. She looked up in time to swerve around a truck, but ended up striking a bridge and flipping her car. Her dreams, her aspirations, and her life were taken away from her by her texting addiction. On May 16, 2009 at 12:05, Ashley felt the need to check a text message sent by her sister. The problem? She was driving at the time. That momentary glance caused her to veer off the road, overcorrect, and then roll her truck. Now, not only has Ashley lost her life, but her sister lives the rest of her life with the guilt of contributing to her sister's death. One life is lost and a family's life ruined over a yeah. Heather Lurch. On February 23rd of 2010, Heather Lurch, age 19 of Rochester, Washington State, was on her way home from work when she lost control of her car and was killed instantly when she struck a guardrail. Her parents state that she was texting up until 10:27 p.m. And when the first 911 call came in, it was 10:30 p.m. This is Heather's car. She hit the guardrail so hard it pushed her into the passenger seat, even though she was wearing her seatbelt. The crash was estimated to happen at about 60 miles per hour. Problem is, that speed limit is 35 miles per hour at that spot. Prior to the guardrail, the speed limit changed from 55 to 35. But a text message stopped her from seeing that. Now, according to the Governor's Highway Safety Association, 47 states ban texting while driving. And all but 4 of these states now consider the use of a handheld device a primary offense. This means that if an officer sees you using a handheld device while driving, he can pull you over just for that one act alone. Fines for texting and driving range from $20 in California to $10,000 in a year in prison in Alaska. So what can we do about it? Well, AT&T launched a campaign in 2010 to educate mainly teens on the dangers of texting while driving. It's called the It Can Wait campaign. The campaign included an app designed for AT&T customers. This free app is for AT&T customers' mobile devices. The app notifies incoming callers that you are driving at the moment and cannot answer your phone. There's additional providers that provide this service as Sprint, Verizon, and T-Mobile. For those of you that think that this cannot happen to you, or those that think that you're good at texting and driving, try out the simulator they have on the It Can Wait campaign. I'm willing to bet that none of you can successfully pass the driving and texting sim. I encourage all of you to visit itcanwait.com. Try out the simulator and sign their safety pledge promising not to text and drive. In the meantime, I'm asking each of you to sign this safety pledge promising not to text and drive. Make this promise to me and to yourselves. Statistics and the stories of victims show the dangers of texting while driving. Most of the victims of this type of distraction didn't have a choice in the decision made by other drivers, while others did, but just thought it could never happen to them. So you should ask yourselves the next time you get behind the wheel of a vehicle, is that message important enough to risk my life or the life of another person? These victims no longer have a voice or a choice, but you do. So use it wisely. Thank you for your time. Please do not drink and drive. Now, are there any questions? Yes?
Do you have any personal experiences with texting and driving?
Actually, yes, I do. Not one of the best ones, but when I was down visiting my sister in Florida, she was an avid texter and driver. When we were driving along the back roads that she lived, she could not put her phone down. She was either updating social media, she was sending texts, reading texts, and she was swerving all over the road. And I was nervous with her driving, but I didn't say anything. And I personally feel embarrassed about that, because I wish I had had the courage to speak up and tell her to stop. Because while I was okay with that risk, I wasn't thinking about the other drivers and the other people on the road that didn't have a choice, that we didn't have the opportunity to ask them, are they okay with putting their lives on the line with her texting and driving? And so I have now pushed myself that any time I come into contact with someone that's texting and driving, I am going to speak up. Any other questions?
Now, do you have any experiences with the app itself? Do you have that downloaded on your phone?
I actually do have it downloaded on my phone. My current phone carrier is Verizon, and they have a feature that when I connect my phone to my truck via Bluetooth, the phone automatically enters vehicle mode, and anytime I receive a phone call or a text, it responds with a text back to that individual stating that I'm driving and cannot respond. Now, I really like this because it's two effects. Number one, it responds. Teenagers nowadays, it shows, expects a response to a text message within 5 seconds. So someone automatically gets that response, so they know that they're not being ignored. But in addition to that, it also sends a message to everyone that I come in contact with for cellular means, that I do not text and drive, and that there's a way to avoid texting and driving. I've had a lot of people ask me, so how do you get your phone to do that? That's like really awesome. I got a lot of positive feedback from it. And I tell them that it's actually a service provided by the cell phone provider, and it's very simple, and it actually did it automatically. I didn't have to do anything. So I'm a huge fan of those applications, and I recommend them to everybody.
What about for those who may not have access to those carriers? What would be your recommendation?
Well, if you don't have a smartphone that uses apps, or you use one of the local carrier that doesn't have all these additional things, the best thing I recommend is take your phone and throw it in the back seat. That way you can't even be tempted to look at it.
All right, that's all the questions I have.
All right, does anyone else? All right, thank you for your time. And remember, don't text and drive, it's not worth it.